Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for our lunchtime webinar today. Very excited that this is one of the first times I get to talk about Magic wheelchairs as they joined our portfolio not that long ago. Really increasing the things that we can do outdoors and with the 360 really bringing the outdoors indoors, which is very exciting. So we'll go straight into it here. The 360 is that compact mid-wheel drive portion, brand new into the Magic's portfolio. I'll tell you why they went about really engineering and developing this chair in a moment, but realize where it is within the existing Magic portfolio. Just in case we get any sort of noise from back behind me, we are in the final stages of our build of our showroom. And the builders have told me that they're going to put down their tools, but just in case they have last minute, that's what's happening. You'll have to come join us. 2021 will be time to come to go shop and see at Sunrise's showroom. So really the 360 was born out of that desire to have a chair that can be used both outdoors and indoors. We all know Magic for their outdoor terrain, their great Facebook posts, their client testimonials about getting this to the top of the mountain, getting this to the beach, and really getting people outdoors and active. But hey, could we also use the same technology for complex rehab patients indoors while really allowing the indoors to then go more places outdoors, so that, you know, that hybrid of sorts, really. Trying to create a really strong, powerful power wheelchair with the suspension and the stability that's going to be useful for even our more complex clients, whether they're complex because of motor control issues, stability issues. Hopefully this 360 is even going to be useful for people that need alternative drive controls, really need great suspension so they can be stable, safe, and comfortable in the wheelchair. So really they were asked to develop a chair that had sort of off-road capabilities, but would be more useful indoors. So the key questions in the development stages of this, and it was sort of 3 years in the making, this 360, was, okay, how can we offer a chair with the off-road sort of capabilities of the V6 that people know and love, but we needed to make it narrower by somewhere around 50 millimeters so that it could fit through doors, it could fit on van lifts, it could be accessible in the community. And then also, you know, said, hey, your wheelchairs are a smidge outdated. Can we make them a little bit more stylish, make them really beautiful chairs is what they were looking for. Hence, the 360 is when it was born. And again, took a fair bit of time to get this thing to the market in a form that people were really happy with, that the engineers were confident, really believed in, and could meet sort of its endeavors. Realized that there were really 4 main goals that they wanted to hit. And if you remember anything else from this video, this is one of the things that I want you to think about, is really trying to hit that it looks good. That's important to our clients. They want to feel stylish. They want it to be sort of an extension of their personality. So wanted it to look good, look great, really. Wanted it to feel good. So it was good to ride. It was comfortable to sit in, easy to drive, those sorts of things. Tolerable to sit in for the length of time that these guys are needing to sit in it. And then not only did we want it to go outdoors, but we also wanted it to go indoors, which, as you can imagine, was quite a feat of engineering to get all this into a very compact base. We've had Rowan here at Sunrise the past couple of days, and he's been telling us stories about how they had to pack the motors in here. It really got down to just millimeters so that they could match their key requirements of making it that narrow footprint. So that's what we're striving for, and I think that's what we've done with the 360. Look great, feel great, go outdoors, but then be ready to come indoors. Okay, that's what those users have been asking for, and that's what we've provided. In terms of the outdoors, that's going to be a lot about the suspension, about the sort of obstacle climbing that it can manage, and traction. So for not only climbing obstacles, but also climbing inclines and gripping on uneven, rocky surfaces, sandy surfaces, that sort of stuff. The indoors portion is going to be a lot about mobility, maneuverability, a lot about overall width and length. Also have to make sure that the seat heights are like the industry, what the standards. We like to have that around that 17-inch seat to floor height, even with our power seat functions. The feeling good, the ride is going to be about that suspension, so that the chair is soaking up the road vibration and the uneven surfaces, okay, so that the client can be stable. Even if they don't have good motor control, good trunk stability, good upper limb strength control. And then aesthetics, so that can be an extension of their personality. The specifications overall, here we'll see a couple things I want you to take note of in particular. We are going to be 10 kilometers per hour. Okay. In the lift, this is a big change from previous Magic capabilities. Even in that 12 inches of lifted position, that we're going to be able to go 5 kilometers an hour. We need to have that sort of capacity so that we can be lifted and moving around the community, shopping, moving around in the house, whatever. Okay, and that's really due to the suspension, that stability, that we can go that fast in a fully lifted position. The width of the base, we talked about how that's one of the key tenets was getting that overall width down as compact as possible. And with the smaller, what we call the urban tires, the width of the base is going to be 6'10". So that's in comparison to all the other just indoor chairs that we offer. So really hit the mark there. And then if we want to use what we're calling the crossover tires, this is your sort of, I don't know, your mountain bike tire, your hybrid. Good indoors, but also has some capabilities outdoors. You're still a really skinny 25 inches or 635 millimeters. And then if you're more outdoorsy, we can go with those off-roads, and then you're a little bit wider. I will talk about later on how you can change. You can have a couple sets of these wheels. So Monday through Friday, you're using your urban ones, indoors, to work, to school, whatever. You don't need that traction, that real capability for uneven or softer surfaces. But then when you go to, I don't know, for the little bushwalk, or you go to the Blue Mountains, or you go a little bit to the beach, we can change those to the bigger wheels. Okay, really easy to do. Get the weight off of those wheels, pop them off, pop the new ones back on. You're ready for that new environment. Okay. Again, it's one of the tenets. We want to be able to go indoors and outdoors. We're humans. We want to do it all. Okay, especially if we can do it in one wheelchair, that's fantastic. I guess I'll leave it there for this particular slide. They do have some really fun colors on the shrouds, so that you can make it an extension of the personality of the client using it. Okay, we'll leave it there. That compact base, we've been through here, 6'10", even with the bigger tires, we're going to be 6'60". Okay. And then when we compare it to the V6, we're quite a bit narrower to the V6. And then we're also shorter than that V6. If you look at the shadow diagram here to the right, you'll see that we're comparing that V6 against the Magic 360. So you can see that it's well inside the footprint. However, we have made, because of the caster position, one of the key requests of clients is always a bigger foot plate. So you see that the 360 is actually able to have a bigger foot plate, more postural control. Okay? What that's going to do is really make it maneuverable indoors. I'll talk through this true mid-wheel drive in a moment, but we've shifted the drive wheel, the main wheel, backwards. So it's a very much straight on center wheel drive. One that's more intuitive to drive. Two, it's making that even more compact and a better driving machine. I'll show you that in a second. If we compare it to other chairs on the market in the indoor spectrum, if you look here, the V6, we've already shown how it's quite a bit shorter and smaller than that one. But if we compare it to, say, the TDX, we're underneath that. And here's the crossover, those in-between tires, the hybrid tires. But if you put on those urban tires, wheels, you're going to be still underneath the Quantum and underneath the Q700. And it's going to be equal to the TDX. It's going to be equal to the M3. So we're right in that market of where our everyday indoor chairs are, but with outdoor capability, okay? And when I was talking about that drive wheel position, if we compare it to previous Magic chairs, we've actually moved that drive wheel back about 3-4 inches, okay? So now we can say that's a real center wheel drive. Okay. I won't play any of these videos here today, but if you did download the presentation, all those YouTube links will be live, so you can see some of these videos. This one, spinning around, I think we can get the idea of center wheel drive, but some of the incline and the traction videos are well worth a watch. By having the person centered right over that drive wheel, it's going to have a more intuitive drive. You don't have a lot of stuff in front or in back of you to remember where it is, so your overall maneuverability will improve. It also takes the weight off of those front casters, so that the drive wheel is getting the majority. Think of a manual wheelchair, right? We have the majority of the weight over those drive wheels. So picking up those front casters is that much easier. You don't need as much force, as much grunt. So climbing over obstacles or inclines is actually going to be easier because of that drive wheel position. Okay, why does it matter? Because if we've got people in here with poor trunk control, poor upper limb functionality, if they're not bouncing around in the chair, they're going to have fewer shear forces, they're going to have less spasticity issues, they're going to be more comfortable, safer driving the chair, and overall just be able to tolerate being in the chair, moving around their environment for longer, more comfortably every day. And you know, with this type of wheelchair, we're looking at people that are going to be in a chair for 10, 12, 16 hours a day. So it becomes really, really important. Okay, and you can see here when we compare to other Magic chairs, how that wheel position has been changed. And then the suspension, I won't go deep into this. The engineers at Magic worked a long time on this and put all sorts of velocity tests and vibration tests to figure out how they could get the suspension to really feel the smoothest. As I said, we've had Rowan here the last couple days, and we have really tried to knock these chairs around, take them up 4-inch curbs and down inclines and over gutters and over the sewer sort of caps. And it literally is just a super smooth ride. So I can imagine how if you didn't have good trunk stability, that it would just make it that much easier to drive your chair around all day. Just think about that trip that you're planning for Christmas. You're going to drive all the way to Queensland because we can now get in. You get so tired at the end of the day. Why is that? You've just been sitting in a car. It's because of those vibration forces, that moving. If we can have the 360 suck up all that vibration, we're going to be, our clients are going to be more comfortable, more in control, even towards the, the later parts of the day. So that's really what that suspension is trying to offer and really does. So if we look at the innards of the chair, again, I'm not going to go into all the physics of it, but you can see that all the wheels are independently suspended, so they can all move independent of one another, which is going to be really important if you want to climb up a curb or go up an incline, yeah, or if you want all those wheels to really impact the ground and change versus me getting bounced around. You got your front suspension and your rear suspension. And then the other thing is you have, I think I just said that backwards, sorry, a front suspension and rear suspension, okay? And then you can see that we've also got these pivot arms, yeah? And here is sort of the suspension pin that allows all those to be connected, but actually act together. So by having those pivot points low, you can imagine that you don't have to lift that front caster arm as far as you would sort of in other chairs. So you just don't have the pitching forces. You don't have to have the articulation that you have in other manufacturers' chairs, and into the previous suspension of other Magic chairs. Also, depending on the wheels that you choose, if you're doing sort of the crossovers or the outside wheels, because those all have lower tire pressure, that can also help with the suspension and the soaking up of the vibrations. So don't forget about that. It just gives a little bit more flex and give in the overall frame. Quite a feat of engineering to get all the suspension into that compact base. Really deserves some awards for this. In terms of the traction, obviously the suspension is going to help that and that low pivot arm, but some of the wheel and the tire choices are also going to help with that traction. You can see that you've got a big footprint and some nice grip just because of the tread on both the crossover and on the off-road wheels. Okay, so that will really help you get the traction no matter what sort of environment you're on, whether it's on sort of wood chips or it's on looser gravel or even more hard packed sand. You're going to be able to keep and maintain that traction moving forward. You know, that in addition to the suspension articulation will really give you that ability to climb and keep traction on that drive wheel. It all adds up, right? You know, you have the majority of weight over your drive wheels, you have really great suspension, you have a bigger footprint with those wheels, all adding up to, you know, great obstacle climbing and traction. And again, I won't play this video here, but realize that there's some really great videos doing some pretty massive curbs. Now realize we'd rather have our clients going to a curb cut and doing it the easier, the more efficient, safer way, but sometimes there isn't a curb cut. You know, sometimes you can, there's just no way around that 2-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch curb. So it's great that this chair has the capability of doing it at a slow, safe, manageable speed. Okay. It also does really well with these gutters that are quite common here in Australia. Okay. So I think all those reasons have really led us to that this is the outdoor chair that also is going to be useful indoors, so that we can have that thing that's going to suit lifestyle Monday through Friday, but then also including outdoor activities Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, and then the ability to change those wheels based on the environment that you're going to be using it in, really great options. Think I've hit the majority of that. Nope, there's a couple things I haven't talked about. Because this is an indoor-outdoor really active chair, realize that the lighting kit is standard. Can go either on the base, or you can attach the front lights on the seating system. If somebody's driving in a lot of tilt, you may want to consider which one is more practical. Big motors, big batteries to get them sort of the coverage that they need. Won't go into depth on the armrest or the leg rest here today, but the new Flexi arm is worth noting. Flexi arm meaning like the cantilever flip backs, but has real nice height adjustment, real good angle adjustment, flips back. You can change the tension or the strength required to flip that back, and you can also change how far it flips back. So all those things are really important if somebody's going to be doing a side transfer. We've talked quite a bit about these wheels and tires today, but here's a closer look at them. You know, if you're only going to be doing the indoor and sort of urban outdoor, I think these urban wheels are a really nice choice. It's going to be your narrowest footprint. It's going to track less of outdoors, indoors. Nice tread pattern there. If you need a little bit of both, these crossovers are really doing the trick. And Magic is finding that probably half on the chairs that they're delivering are using these crossovers because they do really well both indoors and outdoors. And then you don't have to change the wheels for your activity. Okay, somebody isn't there to change the wheel for the client. And then for those more outdoorsy folks, the 14-inch off-roads. Okay. Do realize that we can do sort of puncture protection on these. We can also do a Kevlar liner or a no flat option on these wheels. So, because maintenance is still going to be important no matter which wheel you're choosing. Okay. And then just before I get into the seating, I did want to comment a little bit on some questions about whether the V6 will still be around. And absolutely, the rest of the portfolio is still there. We're just really adding that 360 for the indoor-outdoor looking great option. I think because of the wheel bias here a little bit forward, it's going to be a little bit better for your super tall, high center of gravity clients, or maybe your bariatric clients. Also, this is probably going to be the chair that you want to use if you want to go on softer sand or really soft surfaces, just because of the footprint and the tire options. The 360 will go well on your harder packed, but if you're really going dune buggying, I think this V6 is going to be still the better option for you. One other thing that's available on the V6 is the anterior tilt, the transfer tilt, as a power seat function that's available on the V6. It's not available on the 360. You can cheat a little bit on the 360. You can start it in a little bit of anterior tilt and then use your posterior tilt to make you flat. So just realize that it's available, just a little bit different mechanism on the 360. Okay, so if we want to use this with our complex clients, it's probably very important that we can offer, complex seating needs in terms of power seat functions and in terms of seating, backrests, and cushions. So we'll start with the power seat functions that are available first. There's the whole laundry list, but if we dive in, we do offer that 12 inches of lift, and now with that superior, hard for me to say, Magic 360 suspension, we're going to be able to offer that at speed. So now you're up at that 12 inches of lift, you can still travel at the 5 kilometers per hour, and the suspension is not locked out. So you'll still have capability to go over door thresholds, to make it up that ramp into the restaurant or down. Okay, so keeping that really great suspension even when you're lifted, which again can be very important if your trunk stability isn't great all the way up there. Power tilt, available 50 degrees of power tilt. This is center of gravity like we're used to on all our other Sunrise chairs and other manufacturers' chairs. We need that 50 degrees so that it offers that position change and that good pressure relief. We're able to maintain that 17-inch seat to floor height based on those cartridges that we're using, and is available with the lift. So that's the next one we'll go to, the Combi Unit. So now we're 45 degrees of tilt, but still plenty for that pressure relief. You're able to drive in tilt and lift, again, based on that suspension, real stable base. If that's, a site issue for your client, we can always program it so that's not available. But for a lot of these clients, being able to tilt and lift at the same time and drive is very important. Still that 17-inch seat to floor height, and would be available with power recline at the same time. So with the recline, we have the option of power recline of 160 degrees, or we also have the option of the shear reduction recline, which is going to be offered just a little bit less, 155 degrees. Realizing that shear program is allowing your back of choice to slide down so that the headrest stays in the right position, the laterals stay in the right position. We have reduced shear forces. Okay, you can see probably in this picture it's a little bit easier that the shear reduction cane back movement is here, and then you can add your aftermarket backs. Some previous chairs in Magic, if you had the recline, there was some limitations in the space on the back canes for aftermarket seating. Here you've got a little bit more space, and they've also made brackets so that you can interface a little bit higher so that you're not running out of space when that shear program happens. So realize that with the Magic 360, you have back canes so that it can handle aftermarket backs, J-backs, specs backs, any other back that you're using, matrix backs. Okay. Because that recline mechanism is on the back shell, you're still able to do that 17-inch or 430 millimeter seat to floor height. and you pair them with the flexi arms with all the adjustability that I talked about, you're good to go. Okay, this is the shear reduction recline. Just realize that if your client isn't going that far, they just need a little bit of recline, a little bit of back opening, that you would have the option of the non-shear reduction as well. Again, back canes, so that you can mount whatever aftermarket backs you like. Okay. And then just some seating options. The MPS seat is still available, so that if you just want sort of simple seating, car seat, they don't need a lot of postural protection, nor do they need a lot of skin protection. This MPS is there. It's available as either sort of a replacement seat or as an insert, so that you would have the canes and then the back attaches and the seat just goes onto a seat pan. So if you think you need to change in the future, you might do it as an insert. If they're good to go, that's always what they're going to want to use. You could do it as the actual seat. Okay. I guess I haven't talked about before that 360 has 16 to 22 sort of specs in terms of seat width and seat depth, and then you're able to choose your back heights. Okay. And then the MPS is available with a manual recline as well. Just need a simple sort of adjustment rarely throughout the day. Or for the more complex clients, you can have that rehab seat. It's adjustable, seat width, seat depth. Again, you have those back canes where you can mount an MPS back, or you could mount any of those aftermarkets. Okay, you can mount the headrest to your aftermarket back. I'll talk about that in a moment. Realize that these seating systems, or the seat frame, is available with all of your power seat functions. And we'll go through the leg rests and armrests in here. Flexi arms, I think this is the majority of what people choose. They're really great cantilevers, lots of height adjustments, lots of angle adjustments. You have width adjustment, all series of different arm pads in terms of width. You can do gutters, you can do side panels, waterfalls, you can do different surfaces, you can even do a canvas cover over the top. One of the key things about Magic is if you can dream it up, they can build it. So realize that there's a whole team of people that love these sort of weird and one-offs. They're ready to build those for you. Okay, but also have quite a bit of arm pads and arm rests that are standard. Okay, flexi arms are in the picture. You can also do like a T-post, a standard, which is removable, really strong. If you need to have somebody that's putting a lot of weight through those arm rests, that might be something that you choose. Similar sort of approach to leg rests, swing-aways, power swing-aways, elevating, power elevating, center mount, fixed, center mount power, articulating, can do all breadth of leg supports so that you can accommodate for hamstring contractures, plantar flexion contractures, any sort of weird and wonderful leg positions that you need to manage. Okay. Also quite a few different sort of foot plate surfaces. Again, we're going to be expecting this chair to go indoors, want it to look nice, but we also want to be able to bounce around outdoors. So you can add some different covers here to keep some stability at the feet, which is quite a nice option. Headrests, MPS will be available, sort of a car headrest style will be available on the MPS, or you can do any of your aftermarkets on your rehab seating. Here we can do any of our Whitmire headrests or other headrests. Okay, so think of this Magic 360 as your fully configurable power chair. You're going to get that base, indoor and outdoor capable, and then you can put the seating that they require on top, whether that be cushion, backrest, headrest. It all will configure. And then all the accessories that Magic is known for too. I'm sort of regretting that I didn't put all the pictures in here. Again, go to the website. Magic has done some great things with fishing pole holders, oxygen holders, gun holders, little brother holders, baggage holders, esky, you know, you want to take your slab of beer with you, sort of holders on the front. Camera holders, actually, didn't mention that. They actually do lots and lots of camera holders. People want to be out and about taking pictures. So realize that they have lots of these that are sort of in their standard portfolio of accessories, but also, again, if you ask, they can probably build it, okay? Don't make it too hard on them. Don't dream up really super crazy stuff. Actually, the majority of them would love you too. They love solving problems, the Magic team. Okay. Also, the RAM mounts that we're finding on Sunrise chairs and other manufacturers' chairs. So from tablet holders to iPhone holders, cup holders, coffee holders, gimbaled or not, just realize that those are available to be added. I guess one sort of nice thing is how this is all put together. From a dealer point of view, it's a very easy ordering process. It's on the web, tick, tick, tick. If you're not sure what something looks like, there'll be a whole plethora of pictures to show you how that interacts on the chair. So the ordering process is a little bit like going to a restaurant and ordering off the menu, and you can see pretty pictures of what it'll look like. So even if you're not well experienced at Magic, they really try and make the process as easy as possible for building that quote for you. Electronics, using our net portfolio, just like we're used to with all of our Sunrise chairs and other manufacturers' chairs. Using our net color joystick, advanced color joystick, so that reliability, durability that we're used to with our net. Fully compatible with alternate controls. So if you have somebody that needs a head array, a chin control, touch drive, that's all compatible, can be put together at the factory. Management of your seat functions. Magic has what they call a one-click activator, so a little touchpad, so you can manage those power seat functions. Or you can use the Control 5. It does have the assignable button functionality that you're familiar with the Sunrise products. So we can, set one-hit wonders to have this be quick access to tilt, just all that assignable functionality that we're used to. Or again, if you need something crazy, you can do something made to order. They do a lot of retractable things, retractable headrests, retractable trays, retractable joysticks. So they've probably seen it before. Don't be hesitant to ask whether it's possible. We have Rob that's been hiding in the background here. I'm just going to bring him on screen. Hopefully you can see that I've got the chairs behind me. He's just going to go through sort of his experience out in the field with the chairs, and then also probably compare it a little bit to the V6 or to the other portfolios. Okay, so I'll hand it off to Rob. First of all, say hello, Rob.
Hi guys, how you doing? So I'm now, as you all know, we're all part of the clinical team that's growing here at Sunrise, so we're having that little bit more push to be supportive for you. Just really to run through where the 360 fits in within what we're offering and where we've had experience with what's happening. Just clients are going to have that option to not have to have the two chairs anymore. We're not taking away from this X8. That X8 gives you that whole concept of that beach item. Some clients just think they want two chairs, whereas reality is they have that two batteries to charge. It's that extra function, whereas we feel the 360 is then going to give you that metro looking chair. As we're all aware, the V6 used to be a little bit more agricultural looking, so it just brings it in line with the other manufacturers. As Amy touched on, the colours of the actual chairs themselves, a lot of them are your Holden colours and all your different colours like Range Rover. So they are bringing them in line with a lot of the colours that people want to match their accessories. So the main feature of the 360 is through the suspension. So it's giving that comfort. So as opposed to previously with Magic, a lot of the suspension was through the tyres. So you were running tyres at between 3 to 5 PSI in the X8, which brings it you're scrubbing out tires if you're using it for everyday purposes rather than the function of that off-road. Whereas the 360 allows you to have those hybrid, the crossover tires, so you can use them, and they are pressure, so the tires are now set to the weight of the user. So pretty much like your cars as in the communities, the more weight you carry in the car, the more tire pressure you increase it to. So it just allows that additional function, additional control that you can add. So like the head array, the head switching, you're getting that support, and whereas the clients are a little bit wobbled about in the previous Magic chairs, this one's giving that support for the user. So it's all about, if they are looking for the agriculture on a plot of land or out in the bush, then the V6 is still going to be there with that transfer tilt and those things that they offer. They will go off-road a lot more in the softer sand. The way the arms lift, the bogey arms lift up, that sometimes has put people off on the trials because the arms lift up. They don't like that feeling. So the 360 gives that alternative towards that. So just trying to think what else there is for you. But essentially, you just get the same, the seating that works on the Magic is exactly the same seat top. So it's just we're looking at the base is the only difference. And that's pretty much all there is to it. It's very different to drive, so definitely get in touch with your dealers and have a try of them, because it's a really nice experience to drive with them, and drive with the old one. Get them to bring out both products and you really will feel a difference. Linking into that, if you're in Sydney and come along to the showroom, we've got them here, so give us a call and we can come out and try them as well. So
Cool. Trying to give it a tilt while I come back in screen. It's got all going, cool. And here's just the final, or again, the specs of the chair. Widths, depending on the wheels that you choose, overall length. Ground clearance, I don't know that I talked about that before, but there's actually a little bit more ground clearance when you compare it to other chairs and also other Magic chairs. So you're just not going to get held up if you're going over uneven stuff. Your seat to floor heights, weight limit. Okay, I'll leave you to read all the rest of that. That's been up for a while. Okay, I guess the real, sort of take home message here is that we're trying to do it all with the 360, and I think they've really hit the mark. They look fantastic. Rob actually mentioned that they're using colors to match sort of the auto industry, but they also looked at the styling of the auto industry and Range Rovers and sort of your premium product and said, why does that look so fast? Why does that look so cool? And they found that sort of the detailing and the shapes of the system or of the car were all going in the same manner. So your eye was sort of going in one direction. And so they followed that same sort of design idea so that it looks sporty, it looks fast. Really look towards those designs. Okay, so we're trying to make a really nice looking product. We have made a really nice looking product that's going to work all across environments. So you're a student, you're inside making your breakfast, you're going to the train, you're going to uni, you're traveling around that environment, longer distances, you're coming home, you're needing to do all your activities, cook your own meals, do your own transfers. And then on the weekends, want to go outside, get to the beach, you want to get to the bush, go on, a little bushwalk so that you can be part of the community, part of your family activities. So one chair that will really hit all those different marks, whether it's an adult or sort of a more active pediatric client, trying to offer that indoor chair that goes outdoor, but also looks great and feels great. That's, as humans, that's really what we're after, something that will hit all those marks. Did a little bit of a survey of why people love Magic chairs, and got a whole breadth of different examples or different statements, but people love the chairs because of how they feel when they're in them, what it allows them to do. Also love the fact that they're made here in Australia, made in Victoria, and a lot of the comments surrounded, I just can't break it. It goes anywhere, it does anything, it just keeps going, it never lets me down. And if you are dependent on a wheelchair, I would imagine that's probably number one thing that you're looking for is I just need it to work. Got so many other worries in my life. I just need it to work. And the Magic chairs do that. And the Magic 360 will now only expand on that. Appreciate you watching today. Hopefully you found this helpful. Again, give us a ring, any questions. My email address is at the bottom. I would encourage you to go, just Google Magic or go to YouTube and see some of the great testimonials. They've got lots of clients up there, and also great videos about the chairs doing what they do. Have a great rest of the day. If we don't see you before the end of the year, Merry Christmas. We appreciate you, and we'll see you in 2021. Okay, bye for now.